It is indeed good to be here, to come together around Yahweh's Word as we do at such a dramatic time in which we live. Well, our chapter here introduces us to the abomination of desolation, which of course was the Roman power. What we're going to do first off, by way of signs, is to sweep forward to the future or to our day, when of course there is a manifestation of that Roman power. And what we are coming to, brethren and sisters, is of course the era when we're going to expect to see the 2 feet standing. Last time we looked at that foot. That was the Russian power which will take Constantinople. The next power that we want to look at is based here at Rome. And it is that beast, and it must be ridden by the woman. A bit more on that in a minute. But let's come back historically for a moment to about a year ago. This man, there he was, the Pope. He was the man in Rome at that time. And he was the first Pope to stand down for 600 years. And you might say to yourself, why? Well, have a look at him. We can have a little bit see what's going on. He was not well. But there's good reason for why he was not well. Look at the figures. 25,000 Catholics quit in Holland alone in 2010. 18,000 left each year from 2006. Come down to another article from the Los Angeles Times. 1 out of 5 Catholics in Spain weren't attending. 1 out of 6 in Germany were not attending. 1 out of 10 in France were not attending. We know why. Because of the corruption that was taking place and the immorality that was in the church. And so this man stood down. He said, I haven't got the answers. And another man came to power. The first Jesuit Pope that took power. Here he is. The Jesuit's oath demands that he should never have taken that position, but he did. He took that position, he sought the highest office, and who are the Jesuits? They are the Roman Catholic military, so to speak. God's Marines, says the Catholic News. This is the military power, so to speak, of the Roman Catholic Church. And when he came to power, something happened that was very dramatic. The day he was ordained in the Vatican was hit by lightning twice. And the Roman Catholic Church says this. A Roman Catholic site, here it is, said the only time that's happened before that can be recalled was in 1870 when the Church declared that it was infallible. The Pope was infallible. Significant. And so we can see how significant that means. This man coming to power was shown by the hand of God, it would seem. You know, here's another little interesting thing. Remarkable things. You've probably seen this, but it's most interesting. He, after a while, this year, prayed for the Ukraine area. And had 2 young teenagers, there they are, with doves, symbols of peace. And at the close of his prayer, he released those doves. And suddenly in came a crow and a seagull. Now, seagulls and crows don't usually work together, nor are they so malicious and cruel that they do that. Look what the crow did there. Yes, crows can do that. Have you ever seen a seagull do that? And it was over the Vatican Square. And it happened simultaneously, almost. What are we being told? Well, let's ask the Church, the Roman Catholic Church itself, what that really meant. Very ominous sign for Ukraine. I dare say that was true. I dare say it was true. But it also signifies things to us, doesn't it? And indeed, here he is. The Time magazine, January the 1st, stated he's the person of the year. He's the people's Pope. But we expect that, don't we? The frog-like spirit, liberty, fraternity and equality, has got to come out of his mouth. That's the language that woos the people, isn't it? Look what they're telling us about. We can't spend time on this. But the first non-European Pope, a Jesuit Pope, he didn't call himself a Pope, he calls himself the Bishop of Rome, plays it down to invite other churches to accept him. He decentralises the power from Rome. He worships Our Lady of the Fatima. Why? Because Fatima was the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. Now that's a title used of Mary, but he's blurring the images. He's blurring the images. And Mary, of course, is the only woman named in the Quran. And so here he is. He's trying to work and to move the people. He's trying to work with everyone, even the Jews and the Muslims. And he's getting a huge following. Little wonder, look what he's doing. He's going down to prisons and washing the feet of female prisoners. He's going, with the kids, putting his cap on there. Oh, they love him. Going down to hospitals, look at this grotesque face, trying to bless somebody there. He's going to weddings. Oh, I've divorced and remarried, that doesn't matter. And he's joining in, and look at this. What they are doing. Little wonder, January the 1st, came a message that probably, only we can probably really appreciate. Our ABC broadcast BBC on that occasion, and the BBC stated Pope Francis drew 6.6 million since he's come to power. Come to hear him. In the same period, the previous Pope only got 2.3 million. He is indeed the person of the year. No doubt about it. And he's trying to bring together the daughter churches. He's the mother church. So therefore he's trying to get Lutheran, you name it, all the other Protestants to come under him, and Eastern Orthodox, and he's succeeding dramatically. The one he's really having a bit of a problem with the Church of England is not entirely surprising, because they've always stood aside. We could go into that, but we won't at this time. We haven't time. But here he is with the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Archbishop of Canterbury backs Pope Francis as Time's Person of the Year. The Pope has been hugely effective, he says, and is an extraordinary man. But the people aren't being swayed. He's going to remarkable ends to achieve this. A little bit humorous here, but you know what he's done? He's established a cricket team in the papacy. And he's asked the Church of England to establish a cricket team. And next year at Lord's in London, that's this year, in September, they're going to play. He knows that's the only way he's going to sway the Brits. And he's suggesting they'll have umpires, Muslim and Jewish. He's trying to get everybody to become under his mother church control. And they're going to be doing this, said the BBC's Alan Johnson's report. He adds that game is going to be really well run. Anything else wouldn't be cricket. And so they're going to conduct that in London to sway the British people. Maybe they will. But look, coming back to Scripture, brethren and sisters, look what we can see. We know that there must become three particular images: the dragon, the beast and the false prophet. We looked at the dragon, that's the power last time, which is the Russian power in Constantinople. So put that aside for a minute. The beast is the Roman power, today more the Western Europe, where the Holy Roman Empire used to be. And it must be ridden by the woman. There's no doubt about it, because in the next chapter, Revelation 17 verse 3, it says, I saw a woman stood upon a scarlet-coloured beast. And we know who that woman is. It's the woman sitting on the city, in that city, or is that city that ruled in the days of John. And that was the Roman Catholic power, wasn't it? And there she rides the beast. Roman Catholicism, riding the more Western European area. Is it happening? Do you know what it is? Look at this. If you go through Europe, this man who's the head of the EU made a bit of a blunder last year. He said, we all went to the same school. The newspapers went crazy chasing it up. They found out that the head of the bank, Mario Draghi, was a Jesuit too. Herman Rompuy, of course, was a Jesuit. Prime Minister of Spain was a Jesuit. The Prime Minister of Luxembourg and the head of the EU Club of Nations was a Jesuit. This man, of course, since I did that before, has resigned or been voted out. But the consequence now is at least 6 of the key leaders of Europe are Jesuits. What does it mean to be a Jesuit? Let's have a look very, very briefly. This is the oath that they swear, apparently. They will wage relentless war. They will extirpate and exterminate, secretly using poison cut and so forth. This is back in the 1540s. The strangulation cord, the steel poignard, the leaden bullet, regardless of honour, rank and dignity, when ordered by the papacy. So if the Pope now tells these gentlemen what to do, they must do it, even if it's murder. So we can see the power that's now in Europe. But it's spreading everywhere, even to Australia. Look at this. Jesuit old boys now our leaders. Abbott, Joe Hockey, Christopher Pyne, David Gillespie, all apparently Jesuits. Or at least attended Jesuit schools. Put it that way, here. Well, let's leave that just for a minute and come aside for a second. We know this chapter well. There's Ezekiel 38. And like a little serpent that runs through those verses, there's a key word. Here's the key word. Company, company, company. And there's the verb that comes from that now. It's the Hebrew word kahal. There it is. Translated by the Greek Old Testament church. And a religious assembly of nations come into the Middle East. So the papal blessing will be behind that invasion. Well, is it happening? Is the new Pope working with Russia now? As we know, ultimately it must do so. Well, Russia's becoming very religious. Here's the Pope working with Kirill, the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church up in Moscow. And since the Pope Putin has come back into power, he has opened over 25,000 churches in Moscow that were closed under the communists. Apparently at one point opening them at 3 churches a day. He's certainly moving the country dramatically towards religion. Dramatically towards religion. And of course, he's gone down to see the Pope. And they're not talking about religion. They're talking about controlling countries. Look, how can we sort things out in Syria? This is what they publicly stated they were talking about. But I'm sure that it was even deeper than that. Well, brothers and sisters, we can see, can't we? The signs of the times is very clear. Things are moving dramatically. It's moving fast. Look at Russia. Now look at the papacy. How long have we got? It's therefore very valuable that we are now looking at Matthew chapter 24.